This was a fun little video clip that I saw online and I wanted to share with you. It was an Irish individual who had a long-term illness and he concocted something with his son before the funeral. And this is what happened during the event.
Hello? 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 Let me out! Where the fuck am I? Hello? Hello? Let me out! It's fucking dark in here! Where the fuck am I? Is that priest I can hear? The fuck? Let me out! Hello? Hello? Stop the mask! Stop, I can hear you! Hello? Hello? Please! Hello? Who's there? Hello? He's in shame. I'm in the box. No, I'm fucking front of you. I'm dead. You gotta hear that. Hello again. Hello. I was called to say goodbye. I'm going to die. I'm afraid to say hello again. Hello.
You got to give the guy credit. He had a sense of humor. And essentially, Shea Bradley, a 62-year-old Irish Defense Force veteran, loving father and grandfather, was battling a long-term illness. Knew his time was short. He and his son secretly recorded a hilarious audio track. And as his coffin was lowered into the ground, the hidden speaker started playing the recording. So that one, I think, is a brilliant way to go.
What's going on?
I was just playing a clip. This Irish veteran knew he was dying, so he recorded with his son. Hello, let me out of here.
Oh my God, that's creepy. Oh my God,
everybody's just dying laughing. So
oh my Lord,
it's pretty good.
That's some Gallows humor.
But if you're going to go, I mean, why not? He definitely.
Well, think about the Walt Disney movie on film of him talking to the board of directors and looking at each of them and assigning them to a seat in the room where the film was projected immediately after his demise, telling them what he expected them to do following his departure. And he was dead. So he made this film and he made them sit in seats where he could look at them from the vantage point of the camera, and he addressed each one of them by looking them in the eyes, dead, but in the film.
Oh, okay. So it was like a pre-recorded, and he had a scene. So okay,
pre-recorded plus assigned seating,
almost like a reading of the will. Oh, and such and such.
It was in a way the reading of the will, because it was about the Disney Corporation, what he expected them to do now that he was gone. And he castigated some of them. He made jokes with others. I mean, it's legendary.
Wow.
Yeah. Which I thought was a good way to go out. You make a film and everybody watches it, and I always hated your guts, Shirley. Oh, you can't say that. I'm dead now. I can say whatever I want, honey. How dare you?
Yeah. The only problem is that you're dead and you don't get to see the reaction.
Right, but it's great if you get to say what you get to say what you couldn't say alive, though.
That's true.
I always thought you were a piece of shit, Charlie. I know you stole that money from petty cash last year too. Oh, how did you know that?
It was kind of obvious, but I mean, Walt, to his credit, was a crafty so-and-so. Like he bought up all that land in Florida for Disney World using I don't know how many fake corporations and whatever else, so people had no idea what was going on. They couldn't jack up the price. So, I mean, cunning guy.
The communist Chinese are doing that now.
Well, that's true.
You know, my friend's father, who has a lot of money and a lot of land in want to say Kansas. It's right near the border of Kansas and Missouri, so some of it overlaps. But he's told his son that the Chinese have been buying up all the land around him for the past 5 years under dummy corporations with front guys. But he looked into it, and the front guys were like guys in Kansas who were being paid to be front guys.
And what happens to be there? Oh, Leavenworth.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, I'm just saying, but they're buying. If you look at a lot of their buying patterns, they're near military installations. Or
well, that's a separate story. This is all farmland that they're buying. I don't think this had nothing to do with Leavenworth, but that is a true separate story.
Well, yeah, they're buying farmlands. The other person or the other one buying farmland is Bill Gates.
Okay.
No, I mean he's the number one farm owner in America now, or whatever. So interesting. But all right, well, let's shift to. Wait for it.
Great. It's got like a visual now. Fantastic.
Pasha to the rescue. Pasha, our locals guy.
Thank you. That's fucking genius.
Has laid that together. And we start off with a viral critter piece of art.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Jimothy is, but it's on the Seattle art scene now. Stubby critter dubbed Jimothy by locals was captured on video while he traversed through backyards and balconies in Seattle. A glass-blowing studio is cashing in on the disabled raccoon's viral fame, Eric, with handcrafted glass figurines of the four-legged sensation for $1.25, $1.25, $125 each. I don't even know who Jimothy was.
I've seen him. Hold on.
Maybe the people at home have seen him. And
no, I'll help you out. I've got to bear with me. Here's Jiminy.
What am I looking at?
What is that thing?
Completely obsessed. Here's why everyone's talking about Jimothy. The Seattle raccoon became an instant sensation after this TikTok video racked up millions of views. And if you're wondering why he looks so different, wildlife experts believe Jimothy has a rare congenital spinal condition that compresses his vertebrae, giving him his unique shape. The woman who filmed the video says she only hit record because she thought she was looking at a cat.
I thought he was a cat, actually, at first, and that's why I was recording, because I just love cats. He had come out from under a car, and I wanted to see what the cat looked like, and then I realized that wasn't the shape of a cat.
She named him Jimothy.
Well, yeah, his memory lives on with the glass-blowing version of him now, apparently.
Yeah, as soon as you said that raccoon, I've been seeing that around lately. That weird-looking shaped raccoon. So there you go. That's Jiminy.
That's a weird one. Okay, what else you got there? This is what we were talking about with the street food, Eric. Yeah. How he's telling people to go to illegal street vendors instead of tax-paying restaurants. This is from the New York Post today, like a page 3 story. So it's getting some traction. I mean, just an insane thing to say. Eric was correct. It is a type of pandering, but nevertheless, you're an institutional person running for the governor of the state. You would think there would be more respect for institutional restaurants.
Yeah, but like you said, they're Republican anyway. I don't care. I'm not going to lose.
Yeah, that's my guess. That's the only. Yeah. That's the only thing I could think that he's thinking, because it doesn't make much sense, for someone running for such a wide state office.
And what do you say? Is it Hav or Zav?
Like Xavier.
Xavier. Well,
Xavier Becerra.
Xavier
Becerra. I've heard Xavier and Xavier. But he was the head of he had RFK's job before this. I mean, he was the head of HHS under Biden.
Which, by the way, makes his comments even more offensive, because he's literally saying, go get diarrhea, go eat unhealthily. I'm the guy who's in charge of the area of health.
Well, the last paragraph says there's 2 different sets of rules. Restaurateur Andrew Gruel told the Post. If I were, as a brick and mortar business, to do anything outside the regulatory framework of the city, I'm going to get smashed left and right, meaning fines for whatever. There is nothing about the carts regulatory in nature. So again, this Tijuana effect of California is breathtaking. They literally want it to be Mexico. And I don't know what the upside is, other than power. The downside is that it looks like Tijuana. And this is the influence geographically as well. I mean, we're very close to Mexico here.
Yeah. And the problem is, it's like, think about it for a second. People from Mexico are going to you.
Well,
Why
also getting
take
back
them?
to your other story, the judge that ruled against Paramount was born and raised in Mexico City, Mexico. So the judge is ruling on our cultural, pop culture entertainment from yet another country.
But of course,
Yeah.
oh boy. City manager agrees to exam psych check and boat bust.
This woman was making so much money. San Francisco, she was like the city manager up there in Sausalito, technically. But her and her lesbian wife got divorced last year, and they were some lesbian, crazy political power couple up there that were very famous in the area. And Forbes was the one who went crazy and got drunk and ended up on the boat. But he spent 9 years as the Port of San Francisco's executive director, but left abruptly in September, saying she was tired of being in charge in a large city and needed to make a change. So Knox is the lesbian divorced lover of Forbes, and didn't bail her out of jail, which I found interesting.
Well, she looks nice. That picture of her looks a little.
He trashed this guy's boat and drank all his liquor, crashed there, and they found her on the boat, having trashed the entire boat.
Lovely. All right. Cops blast machete goon at hospital. Oh,
yeah, this is another.
Could it be crystal meth?
Absolutely. This is yet another crystal meth story where a guy with a machete went into a hospital, probably didn't even know where he was, and they had to go and respond to this, as all of the responses are, for the most part, for police, involve meth people with swords or knives. Police called in a SWAT team and sued until officers opened fire near the intersection of East Willow and Cherry, just outside the hospital grounds. Footage from the scene appeared to show the suspect fleeing from the cops as they fired on him feet away from the campus. Los Alamitos Police Department Support Services Manager Robert Acosta told NBC that crisis negotiators tried to convince the suspect to surrender. But of course, he had a machete and a head full of meth. So he's dead now, rightfully blasted.
Jesus.
To make a long story short, he started to approach and come at the cops with the machete.
It's hard.
Of course, they tried beanbags. They tried all the different standard things that the city has imposed upon the poor cops, that the cops know doesn't work, because the people are jacked out of their minds. And of course, then they had to use the old-fashioned way, which was bullets.
Let's see. Sneak thief raps. Fed charged 3 in a $2 million scheme to steal Nike gear.
A huge, complex scheme involving Florida and LA, smuggling and stealing these Nikes from the warehouse, I believe, in Florida, and somehow Tennessee. I take that back, not Florida, Tennessee, Memphis, which is known as America's Distribution Center. And organized cargo theft conspiracies disrupt and harm critical interstate commerce. That's how they uncovered this plot, and it ended up being right on Fairfax Avenue, right by me over here, selling them in stores. And this incredible plot was busted open by the U.S. Attorney's Office out of, I think, Tennessee. Combined with LAPD and FBI teams arrested Harvey, Abraham, and Cuellar on federal warrants. All three face charges, including conspiracy, aiding and abetting interstate transportation of stolen property. If convicted, they face up to 15 years in federal prison. fines of up to $500,000 and blah, blah, blah. There are many people involved in this scheme, but it was enormous. It was enormous.
And Memphis, I believe, is FedEx's main distribution hub.
Yeah, but there's others there too. Apparently, as they said, it's America's distribution center. FedEx and many others are there in the same city. But anyway, that's where the plot originated, and then came here, involving LAPD and FBI here, and the U.S. Attorney's Office here.
Well, it just makes me wonder. This is one scheme. I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't more possible schemes or busts down the line with different industries or whatever. The algorithms of anti-Semitism. Oh goodness.
I don't know. Greg Kelly had a huge piece on this yesterday, where he compared the quote unquote genocide in Gaza with footage of the actual genocide from the Holocaust side by side. Very interesting last night. If people want to take a look at that, Greg Kelly going the extra mile to dismantle the phony genocide in Gaza, showing how well fed they were, showing how fat they were, showing their phony New York Times connection that this one baby was being starved to death, showing this phony video where they sent out a 3-year-old girl to get soup at a refugee camp, and she comes back with the soup, and inside the tent are 3 teenage children and a mother, but they sent a 3-year-old girl out to get a giant pot of soup. Right. Kelly doing yeoman's work yesterday. But this is about the boosting of social media by people like Fuentes and others, using bait and rage bait tactics that Eric knows more about, and a huge expose on how the algorithms are working for the Jew haters.
Something's going on with that. And
you think?
No. I think it's shifting. I think something is shifting. And the reason why I say that is Fuentes lately has almost flipped to the other side. He's like going after all of them, and all of a sudden he's saying, no, it wasn't his. It's almost like he just kind of flipped to the opposite. And I can't help but think he's way ahead of this scheme. So he was, obviously the founder of the anti-Semitic flag, practically, like, with social media, young people. And now he's kind of shifting away from it. So I don't know if he's saying, hey, what are you all doing here? This is my territory. I'm the original anti-Semite. You're not supposed to be here.
I don't know.
Or if he's ahead of the market and he sees that the whole grift is falling apart and he's just ahead of it. I don't know. Something's going on, though. I'm not sure what it is. Epps girl, get her dead. Yeah, this is the French guy who
the French guy, right?
For Epstein, right?
Yeah,
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, this guy. By the way, some other guy, having nothing to do with Epstein, some Israeli multimillionaire young guy. He used to be IDF. He's on a reality show in Israel. He's made a fortune. They have a reality show in Israel called The Americans, and it's about Israelis who have come here and made it big. And this young guy has a wife and 3 kids in LA. He was in Miami, and they came to pick him up from his other apartment there. And they talked to him on the intercom, and he said, I'll be right down. And indeed, he was right down. He came plummeting down from the 28th floor through the canopy onto the sidewalk in Miami yesterday. And they said it was and these guys were out with him the night before. There's photos of them together on Instagram, partying, having a great time. And the police are saying it was but it sounds like somebody just threw him out the window, which is another story, which I didn't have a piece of paper on, but I just read it before this. And this guy died, but he was a guy who procured women, I guess, for the Epstein circle.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Somebody was talking about it, and they were saying, what's this whole found dead? I'm like, well, technically everybody is found dead.
That's right. Except for Mitch McConnell, who's still alive.
Eventually he will be.
Yeah.
Trump's blue state. What? Oh,
This
that
was
was the Dodgers.
fantastic. Yeah, this was great. Anyone who thinks Trump has lost some sort of cognitive ability should watch this thing with the Dodgers. He was at the top of his game in this event. I mean, he was hysterically funny. He was riffing. He was talking to them. He was talking to Ohtani about Babe Ruth, with Babe Ruth statistics as a pitcher, home run hitter. I mean, he was all over the place. I mean, in a good way, in terms of talking to the Dodgers individually, talking to Dave Roberts, calling out individual players. He went on and on and on about the World Series, how he had bet with Carney, right? Up there in Canada.
Yeah, Mark Carney.
And how he had followed the game in detail. And he went into details that I don't even remember from that crazy World Series, but he does. Wow. I mean, it was so impressive to watch this guy. For anybody who believes that he's missed a step. Now, people do have good days and bad days, Eric, who are 80 years old. But man, this was a good day for him and a great day for the Dodgers.
Well, he knows sports.
Right, but I'm saying he was riffing with them, meeting individually and talking about them individually, making jokes about them, the stuff that was really cool.
Right. Well, I was going to say, but he knows sports. I mean, he knows UFC extremely well. Apparently, huge Knicks fan. He knows that really well. But I'll never forget Bobby Kennedy, I think, probably said more about Trump than a lot when he said he sat down with Trump, who then just drew a detailed map of the entire Middle East and said, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. And people don't expect it.
Yeah. I mean, at one point he says, where's Miguel Rojas? The Dodgers second baseman, and he said, how did you make that throw to the plate in that when you backhanded that ground? I mean, it was just like really in the weeds. Very impressive. They gave him a ring, a gigantic ring, and then they gave him the Dodger jersey, and he said, I think you guys are going to be back here next year. And he said to Dave Roberts, how are you doing this year? And he said, I've been busy with things like Iran. I'm sorry. And they're like cracking up, the whole team. And he said, and then Dave Roberts goes, well, we have the best record in baseball. And he says, I hope to see you here next year. I mean, it was just really, really Trump at his best. Really, really great to watch.
Good. Oh, yeah. Don Foe slapped by criminal referral. Yet another referral, everybody. Celebrate. We got a referral. Okay.
I will take this as a minor victory, despite Eric's protestations. I will hopefully something will happen with this, but you have to have the referral first to get in the game, right?
I agree. I'm just saying this is one of
I'll take it. The top prosecutor is now referred for criminal prosecution. That's a good day for us, Eric.
I just hope it goes through, but yeah. Let's see. Stunt gals jacked Bodacy. What the hell?
Oddly enough, the star Matt Damon of The Odyssey had a woman stunt double. This is the first time in American history that this has ever happened. How he lives with himself is beyond me. But his stunt double was a chick who's 4'5".
Okay, well that's one way to get yourself into Oscar territory, right? Covering
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I've actually done like doubling, not stunt double, and the whole idea is you should be about the same
the
height and size for the light and shit. So how the hell does this work? I'm confused.
That I don't know, but the fact that she's a woman is bizarre.
Right, but being in armor or something, I can sort of see it. But I'm just saying the height difference and I'm like, what?
No, but again, because the accusations are this is a woke film. 99.9% of all stunt doubles who do these dangerous, life-threatening stunts are, of course, men.
Sure.
So he decided to take the 0.001% route to get this storyline into the zeitgeist.
Yeah,
that's a little weird.
Oh,
and she doesn't even fit the bill, is what I'm saying.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Surge in DC, big threat. Okay, this is the Secret Service reporting an extreme amount of threats with Trump. Was it up like
10,000? I mean, if you look at it,
10,000,
approximately 10,000 threats to its protectees in the first half of the year, Eric. That's crazy.
And that's from 2025 to 2026. So
yeah.
it was already bad last year. I mean, and now it's this year, and Iran.
The guy says that, quote, the numbers are numbers that this agency and certainly I have never seen in my 24-year career, says Sean Curran, I'm sorry.
Right.
The Secret Service director.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, if again, you had 2025, it was already 7,000. That's a lot. But now you're at war with Iran, who very famously has fatwas.
Well, there's also the people who keep coming at him are just Americans who have been bat signaled by the American left. We're yet to see. This is not to say there's not a million plots they've uncovered by the Iranians, but most of the things we see. And I'm saying this because the journalistic dinner is going on right now. And the last guy has yet to stand trial.
Right. And by the way, when I'm talking about a lot of this, I'm talking about not only Iran, but a lot of things that are coming out of it. It's not just the left, because it's a lot of the woke right.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of funding from other people over there who are helping stoke the psycho.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's deeper than a lot of that. New break in Hollywood, and this is that
Santa Monica and Laurel, 2 miles from the
one
other
I
one.
showed, right?
Yeah. It is, but it's not considered what's called a major water main break. It's the size of the pipes, and the one on Sunset was 36 inches in diameter, which is 3 feet. These ones here are a foot in diameter, so it's a small amount. Plus, this is flat land. The one on Sunset was up on a hill and flooded down into the lower 48.
I'm just sitting here thinking of, a city that has, water issues and problems. It's not the greatest place to waste a lot of water.
Oh, no, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Pasadena Wayne Manor asks for $32 million. Whoa. This is Batman.
Well, it's definitely word, but it's the Batman. This is Bruce Wayne's house. For people who remember the Batman TV show, this is where he lived as his counterpart, Bruce Wayne. It's a 19,000 square foot home with 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, more like a 17th century castle with leaded glass windows, turrets, slate. I've seen this house, in Pasadena. It's quite spectacular. That's why the price is $32 million. But holy crap, is it a great house?
Who owned this?
I don't know who the last owners were, but it says Rita Kant Oha, CEO of Dubai-based Proact. It was owned by Dubai.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're talking about people funding crazy shit here.
Yeah.
Man on fire after tasing.
Torn from the headlines. The guy caught fire, Eric. Could happen to anybody. He simply
are near a gas pump. That could suck.
He, Arizona man, no relation to Eric, burst into flames when a cop tasered him next to a gas pump that caught fire. Horrifying footage shows Clarence Coyle suffered burns all across his hands after the federal wildlife officer fired the taser at Filippo gas station on July 16th. The officer had followed Coyle to the station after catching him driving through an open gate at Havasu National Wildlife Refuge. I don't know if you know where that is, Eric. 20 minutes earlier, Coyle said he thought he would die and rolled to put out the flames. He was rushed to the hospital, but police never followed up with him. So the police just moved on and let Coyle be.
This is a wildlife. There's a lot of problems with this scenario.
This story is so crazy.
Yeah.
I had to tear it from the headlines because there's a lot of missing information, but it's one of my favorites. A guy burst into flames.
Right. And and it's, I'm sitting here thinking, a cop taser. Oh, no, he's a federal wildlife officer.
Well, they're armed. They're armed. Yeah,
they can be. Yeah, but this is a little bit of a jurisdictional question.
Simply because he went through an open gate.
I know.
At the refuge. That's why he's being burned alive.
Yeah, it just seems like there's got to be some more going to this story here because it's crazy. Jesus, Eric got a bump.
Yeah.
Eric Adams. What the hell?
Well, I thought of the headline for you, but it is about Eric Adams and this AI from China. That this AI slot from China is out targeting Eric Adams for some reason. In this bizarre social media video, Adams is falsely shown standing in a church claiming to be the Son of God and making racist predictions about the U.S. This is part of the ongoing psyop that the Chinese have been using against us in the racial area. Other fake AI footage of Adams on social media shows him doing everything from life hacks to cooking to extolling the virtues of rare stones. The oddly disorienting video shows AI Adams making a religious prophecy. They are going to have all the minorities deported. This is what I was saying. This is what came out in the Tulsi Gabbard and other revelations last week about Chinese influence in our elections.
Okay, so this is old AI then, probably, because
Oh,
it wouldn't be super relevant right now. It's like, okay, I mean, he's not a
no, but I'm saying the story is new. I don't know how relevant it is to an election, but this is a brand new story. This just broke.
Right. No, I understand that, and I'm just saying I have a feeling that the AI was created and it's being released now. Back when he was in office, a little bit more.
No, that's not true. It's him out of office. They're still trying to see to foment racial disagreements and racial disharmony. This is not an old thing. This is recently online, and in other words, the story is that they're continuing to try to disrupt our racial harmony in the United States.
All right, what's weird to do it?
No kidding. But Eric got a bump.
I guess so. Cops ire at Mam's BB Rhetoric. Oh, Ma'am Donnie. Okay. Boy, these headlines aren't always perfect.
Well, they have to fit in.
No, I understand.
Cops ire. They call him ma'ams. Like they have to create their own language for new people, their own shorthand, especially for longer names. When you put Netanyahu and Mandami in the same, it's not going to fit into the headline. So they go BB. Yeah, so they come up with their own, and they'll use ma'ams for the rest of his career. And once you get used to it, you'll see it everywhere. But this is what the police were complaining about. The NYPD police, by the way, I'm wearing my NYPD tie clasp here, given to me by Al Gonzalez a couple of years ago to help out with the NYPD's problems that are going to rise from this storyline that Eric was just showing. Because Mandami has called for protest at the UN to disrupt the arrival of Netanyahu, and the police are saying, thank you, that's really helpful.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it. That really helps the job. I mean, so get it from the cop's point of view. You got to protest. Okay, there's a protest. But when the mayor is starting it from scratch, and you're the fucking mayor of the city who ostensibly rules over the NYPD, it's a little awkward, Eric.
Yeah. No, I agree. And we've seen it before in the West with Chaz and Chop, only now it's magnified to New York size because of this scumbag.
Well, keep in mind, it also has international repercussions because this is all the dignitaries of the world are coming to the United Nations. Not that there haven't been protests at the UN before. What I'm saying is this guy is creating it simply to target Netanyahu, who he used as a campaign promise that he would arrest him, and came out with a new video this week saying, unfortunately, he looked into it and legally he's not allowed to arrest the leader of another country.
Yeah, which is anyway. That guy is well, New York. You voted him in. I don't know. My sympathy is
Germany voted in Hitler. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah,
and they suffered for it too.
Yeah,
they did suffer.
Well, we may suffer for this.
Oh, well, we are. I mean, that's part of the reason I keep saying we do need to work with Democrats as much as possible to jettison DSA. It goes beyond just look at their problem. Same way we need to get rid of the problems on our side. We need to help them as much as possible because if you imagine AOC being president, imagine, because they are gaining.
Imagine
power.
Harris
They
being
are.
president. I mean, both of them are incomprehensible to me.
I agree. All right. Well, that wraps up this segment of our.
That's perfect.